to the OMG Hour.
Welcome back, everybody. It is episode number 375 of the OMG Hour. And of course, I am Sean Evans, otherwise known as Zion Tane.
And I am Tico, Mr. Second Place. It's a good thing you introduced yourself in case people didn't recognize you, Sean.
Right? I don't even recognize me.
It is a significant change in look for you. For those listening and not watching, Sean decided to make space for his mandatory mask by removing all of his facial hair.
The beard
does not look like Sean anymore.
The beard is gone. Yes, of course. And like many places in Canada, at least in Ontario, mandatory masks are coming into effect next week. I'm like, ugh. So yeah, if you want to go into a store now, you have to wear a mask. Even in our office building, they've got now going to be doing that. If I go into the office, I have to wear a mask when I'm in the common areas. So, I mean, I tried wearing a mask with my beard, and it was like, this just isn't working. But, so, to make things easier that front, I shaved it off the other day. I gotta tell you, Tika, it was so weird shaving it, because as I'm shaving it with, like, regular clippers, it wasn't falling off. It literally peeled away like a second skin. It was so weird. The whole thing just fell off in one piece as I shaved around.
As you do it, and you have to do it, because I did my head the other day too. My hair was starting to get long, so I took the clippers to my head. And the same thing, and you're going through, it's like, well, it's and you feel like you're like peeling a banana almost as you're going slowly through this. It's like, and it's just such a weird feeling to do that when you let it go for so long. I have never been able to grow a beard any longer than this, so I don't know if I'll ever know what you feel exactly. But it's just such a weird feling when you have to remove that.
I just preferred that sort of triangular look to my face with the beard. I don't know. I've only had it for 18 months, and for some reason, I just prefer that look on me now. So I don't know. When all this is done, I'm probably going to grow it back. I mean, I actually really liked it. So, Anyway, this is not the beard show.
What? What day is this? Well, I thought Sundays was Beard Day.
No, well, because of Ubisoft Forward, we moved Beard Day to Monday. So this is now our regular Friday show.
Oh, well, that's why I was confused. All right, so gaming.
Yes. So this week, you and I had the opportunity to. We received a review code from the publisher of a game called Superliminal, not Subliminal, not Superliminal.
Would you look at that? I've been reading that wrong the whole time.
Have you been thinking it was subliminal this whole time?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen it written, but you just see the S and then the end, and it's your brain puts it together. Superliminal. And
it does. I mean, I agree. You see the S, you see the liminal, you think subliminal. But Superliminal is best way to describe this game is Portal meets the Stanley Parable. It's absolutely fantastic. I've been having an amazing time playing this game. I've played it through multiple times because there's a lot of things to find and collect, and the puzzles in it are fantastic. The basic idea of this game is that perception is reality. Okay, and what that means is, if you take a small object in your hand, for example, and let's do this. If you're sitting across the room, you know how you can put your fingers out and look like you, say, grab the television with your fingers. Okay. Yep. Well, perception is real. So in the game, if you grabbed that television with your fingers, you would actually pick up a television that size. Right? And you would now have a mini television in your hand. But if you took that object in your hand and held it up to the ceiling across the other side of this large room, which makes it look large in the room, and then let it go, it would fall at the size it was perceived to be. So it would actually get huge as it fell, right? Because it was perceived to be a large object in the room. So literally the game is built around what you see is reality. And it's phenomenally done. You really have to stretch your brain as you play this game. You really need to remember that what you're seeing is reality. and use that to your advantage. Make things big, make them small. You may need to place this huge die, for example, on a button that's like in this tiny little window. So you need to somehow make it look like it's tiny inside that window and then let it go, and it becomes tiny, right?
Yeah.
So it is a puzzle game through and through, but it actually tells this sort of neat little story, little kind of concept of dreams and reality. It's really well done. I thoroughly enjoyed it. There are a lot of hidden things in this game that I'm not going to give away. There's a lot of sort of mind-bending things as well. There's areas in this game where everything's kind of upside down, like you're now walking on the walls instead of on the grounds, right? So take the whole room and just rotate it, and that's your reality for a couple things. And it's so phenomenally done, Tico. I have played every single level of this game multiple times because I want to play it again. I want to find the hidden things, the hidden collectibles, all the secrets, because it's like not just to get the achievement for it, which is fun, obviously, but to enjoy the game and actually figure out that puzzle on getting those hidden things, because it is that much fun to just do it again. And this, believe it or not, there is an achievement. There's 2 achievements for a speed run. You finish the game in 60 minutes and finish the game in 30 minutes. Those are actual...
30 minutes seems hard to me.
I think it might be, but the 1 hour, I'm actually going to attempt it, Tico. That's how much I love this game. It is absolutely worth playing to try to get those achievements. And just, the whole, what you see is not necessarily what you think it is. It is amazing. Like, lining things up as you're seeing on the video now. There might be an object printed on multiple surfaces, but if you line up that surface so that it looks like an object, because perception is reality, it becomes an object that you can now use.
You can then pick it up.
Yeah. It is really mind-bending, and it is absolutely fantastic. If you love games like Portal, and if you love games like the Stanley Parable that tell this kind of a unique out there story, manipulating the world type objects and that sort of thing, Superliminal is absolutely fantastic, and you should absolutely check it out. It's available now. It came out on PC last year. It is now available on the Switch. I think it's coming for the Switch. It's available on PC and Xbox now, and it is wonderful. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it's a fun game, and it really does. Like, there's some of the even the early puzzles are, what am I supposed to be doing? Like, you're really sitting there head scratching. Then when you get it, you really feel like, okay, you feel really proud of yourself when you actually catch on to what you're supposed to be doing.
You really need to train your mind on, like I said, the perception is reality. You need to train your mind on it, because normally you want to place things in a 3D environment. It's not about placing them in a 3D environment. It's about placing items perceptually, and it becomes that, right? Because at first I'm like, okay, I want to make it big, but I need to put it there. And so I'm trying to make it big and then place it. It's like, no. Place it in your vision so that it appears to be where you want it, and it becomes it. And so you really
go and then go for it.
Exactly. You really need to wrap your mind around what you see is real, and that's absolutely fantastic. Check it out, Superliminal. It is available now, and you definitely owe it to yourself to play this game.
Absolutely.
So I've been playing that one all week. That was pretty much the only thing I played this week because I've been having so much fun with it. But more importantly, we postponed this show by a couple of days because we wanted to talk about Ubisoft Forward, which we just finished watching. Today is Sunday. It just ended about 30 minutes ago, I think. So overall, Tico, I think I was a little disappointed with the show. How do you feel?
So the actual show itself, like we watched some of the pre-show and everything like that, so there's extra information you get from doing that, but the actual show itself was probably about 30 minutes. and
the show was 50 minutes total.
That was 50 minutes?
50 minutes. It was just under an hour.
Okay.
So before we go any further, Chico, I'm just going to say right now, you need to switch your mic to your actual mic because I'm hearing you from your camera. So while you check that out, I'm going to say, while you're checking that out, I'm just going to say that a lot of the stuff we saw in Ubisoft Forward today was nothing new. Like, everything they showed us was stuff we've already seen, stuff we knew was coming, and then, of course, the surprise announcement that we were all waiting for was something that was already leaked this week, Far Cry 6, and it was just an opening montage. It was literally the opening movie to the game.
Yeah.
You know, and overall, I felt really disappointed with the show.
I felt too, and they, Yves Guillemot came out and he said right before they showed the Far Cry 6 content, said that they will be doing another Ubisoft Forward event this year. So it seems almost this is similar to the Sony State of Play, where they're going to be doing multiples of these. So we were expecting the E3 equivalent of a show,
and that's not what we got.
And that's not what it was, and they did not really let anybody know that this is what this was going to be ahead of time. They just said this is the Ubisoft Forward event, and we were left to think that this was the replacement for the E3 show.
Yeah.
Whereas this clearly wasn't that. This was here's one thing that you may have heard a little bit about. Here's two things that you already knew about. Here's something that somebody leaked this week. Yeah. I can't really blame them for a leak. I mean, that's not really their fault. They expected it to be a big announcement, and whatever stuff leaks, it's what happens. But there was nothing of this event that made me go, wow. I mean, there's content in there that makes me go, wow, that looks fantastic. But there was nothing in there. It's like, well, I'm glad we waited to talk about this because it's all stuff we knew about.
Agreed. And I wanted to just speak on that because we waited for this show for 2 months. Like, we've known about Ubisoft Forward for 2 months. We both said this should have been in June, sort of like the virtual E3. Sony and Microsoft both did something early June, and now we're talking we're mid-July here, and we've been waiting an extra 6 weeks for this beyond Microsoft and Sony. And so I think that excitement was hyped up to what we got today was not worthy of that excitement that waiting an extra 6 weeks, because usually Ubisoft is my favorite show. Ubisoft, Bethesda, those are like they usually are exciting shows at E3. Not to say that Sony and Microsoft aren't. I always look forward to the Ubisoft and the third party publisher shows rather than the first party ones. But I don't know, we saw Ghost Recon Breakpoint. They showed us the AI teammate stuff, which is coming in 2 days from now. That looked phenomenal.
That looked phenomenal. And that was in the pre-show.
No, that was Ubisoft Forward. That was that was the first thing they showed us.
I thought that was the pre-show.
No, it was not the pre-show.
That's how confusing. That's how confusing the whole thing got.
I agree. Okay, there was an hour pre-show doing a lot of Trackmania stuff, and then behind the scenes of other things, and like indies and stuff like that. And then the show started, and the first thing they did. So I get it. I mean, it was right at the beginning. Ghost Recon Breakpoint. They showed us the AI teammates. Basically, the teammates you had in Wildlands are now finally here in Breakpoint, but enhanced even further. So you actually treat your teammates as if it was your character. Customize them completely, give them different equipment, different gear. Everything you can do with your character, you can do with your AI teammates.
Which is really neat. And I for people who do play this single player, who don't play, a multiplayer, scenario and everything, it makes it way... I think it's going to make it way more fun to take out some of these things. Like the one scene that they showed where you've got your 3 teammates, yourself, plus your 3 drones. You can set up a 7
kill shot. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, kill shot, which I am kind of excited to try that out.
Me too, because I use my 4-spot drone, to do that now. But the way that works is you set up the shots and then you tell the drone to take the shot. Whereas now your drone sets up 3 shots, your teammates set up 3, and you set up 1, makes 7. And as soon as you, just like in Wildlands work this way. You set up your teammates, and when you take the shot, all the others take the shot. It's a sink shot. That's what they called it in Wildlands, was sink shot. It was literally, you take a shot, and the other 6 take their shots at the exact same time, take down 7 guys. Now that, to me, is how you play stealth.
That, and I'm looking forward to it, because there's some of the compounds that there's 4 guys in, so like this is going to make it really fun. Like take out everybody in one go, and then you're in there to get your stuff. So I'm looking forward to trying that. And they announced a new event. I can't remember what it was called, but they have an event going on for a week as well, which I'm kind of curious how that works.
Yeah,
I think you said the same thing. Like, is this multiplayer?
Like, I didn't understand. I didn't understand what they were showing us. It was mass chaos. You working with the rebels. It was like just bombs and explosions. It's like, but what is it? I don't understand what you're showing me.
What does it do? What happens?
Is this a multiplayer event where you're all playing? I don't get it. But I
guess we'll know in a couple of days.
If you play it, I guess. It's a limited time event, like you said. Like I think it lasts like a week. So
yeah, I'm going to take a look at it to see what it is, and then probably die horribly very quickly, and then just be glad that I had my AI teammates.
I am excited for the AI teammates. A lot of the stuff they explain too is that whatever stance you as a player take, your teammates also take. So if you're going stealth, when you equip your silencer, they also equip their silencers. If you're going prone, they all go prone. So you essentially are the leader, literally, and they follow the leader. And then you can give them each commands individually if you so choose, which is great because, any game can be thrown off by an AI teammate that goes rogue when you're trying to do stealth. It's like playing with you, Tico.
Yeah, I know. Listen, my helicopter landing skills need some work. I'm aware. Okay? When you're trying to stealthily sneak up on a compound and I aggressively land behind you, it may have drawn some attention.
I believe there was also a mission when you, me, Jeff, and Miranda were playing together. This was in Wildlands, when Wildlands first launched. And we're all like stealth, going around this near the beginning of the game, little compound. And I think you had a vehicle. You just rammed the vehicle right through the compound. We're like, now they're all alerted. So boom, 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 boom.
I probably did. Yep.
That
sounds like something. But
sounds like something you would do.
Did we not kill everybody?
You did. You do the same thing in Division 2, actually. We're all taking it easy down this little hallway, and you're like, boom, 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 boom. Look at me go! Rah! You're like Han Solo. You're Han Solo chasing the stormtroopers. That's Tico.
It's me going, and then followed by a quick, "Hey guys, I need a revive."
Yeah. That happens. Truth.
Listen, it's my style. That's
moving on. Well, speaking of your style, wow, great segue there, Tico. Speaking of your style, they then moved on to Watchdogs Legion and showed off way more gameplay, showing all of the different styles and ways you could play the same mission. And I was just blown away. I'm like, holy crap, this is freaking amazing. It's
not just the styles in which you can play the mission. You select the player from your army of characters who is going to be best suited for the style you want to take that mission on.
Right.
Be the construction worker who's going to go in like I would with,
bashing heads in. Yeah.
You can pick, the drone expert who's going to, fly over top and stealthily take everything out.
Would you see that though? Like she's piloting this drone and she's just zapping guard, like electricity zap, and moving on like nothing was there. It was literally without stopping. She's flying this drone down, zap zap, flies on to the next guy, zap zap, flies on. It's like, holy crap, that's amazing. And then the third option was to actually recruit someone who actually works for the organization you're up against. Yeah, and so she Albion. So she's an Albion who becomes part of DedSec, and she just walks into the building because she works there. I'm like, this is brilliant. I mean, holy crap.
I love all of the different ways that you can, like, I'm just so excited about this. It looked fantastic. The game itself looks so good.
Yes.
I mean, it just looks amazing. And just to think this is a few months away.
October 29th, just before Halloween, which is perfect because you do a lot of dress up in that game.
Yeah, and smart delivery was confirmed.
Yes,
so you buy it once on Xbox. You get it. I assume that Sony will do something similar, whatever they're going to call their thing.
Well, I mean, it's not Sony doing it; it's Ubisoft. So if Ubisoft is offering smart delivery for Xbox, they'll do the same for PS4. They've already announced smart delivery for all the systems on like Valhalla. So Watchdogs will be the same because Sony said it's up to the developer. So if they're going to do it for Xbox, of course they're going to do it for PS4. You know, so I mean that just makes sense. So I am super excited. Before the show started, there were like probably about 30 minutes before the actual pre-show. So that was the pre-show. They were showing trailers upon trailers, just past trailers we've seen, right? And it was showing all the old trailers from Watch Dogs that kept saying coming March 20th, 2020. Like, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
It may have gotten moved.
So it's now October 29th. As of now, I'm assuming there's no more delays on that game. It looks absolutely amazing. Here's another thing I actually really liked about Ubisoft Forward, even though I was disappointed with the whole show overall, but there's things I liked about it. Is the sort of behind the scenes they did on a lot of the games, like just a little developer interviews. Like Watchdogs Legion had a little segment talking about the world designer, the level designer, like from Toronto, and showing how she does different levels and how she's met people from London that actually look at her levels and like, holy crap, I feel like I'm in Camden, I feel like I'm in Westminster, and because they've designed it so well that people from the area fully recognize it.
Yeah, it feels like that, and like the little touches too. That she's talking about, like she's worked on different games, and she says like there's Assassin's Creed Unity. There's a boat with a whole bunch of cats in it.
Yes.
And Watch Dogs 2, there's a boat with a whole bunch of cats. And she goes, and if you keep an eye out in Legion, you're probably going to find a boat with a whole
bunch of cats in it. Yeah. Oh, they I think they said this might have been the pre-show. Actually, it was the pre-show. Where there's a similar thing in Division where there's rubber ducks everywhere. And there's a whole backstory of where those rubber ducks came from. It's sort of a thing that happened at the studio with rubber ducks. And so now these rubber ducks they were telling this little story throughout Division. You just find rubber ducks in these little scenarios, like one where they're under an umbrella hiding from the rain, another somewhere else they might be two ducks like kissing because they're out on a date or something, right? So there's just rubber ducks throughout the game, and it was just thrown in as sort of this in joke within the studio, and it's just like that's really, really cool that I mean we've seen Easter eggs and stuff, and developers do that. It's just nice, it's just fun to see that side of gaming. Especially now with all of the turmoil, to be honest. I don't think there's a better word than turmoil going on at Ubisoft right now. I'm not going to get into it. I really don't want to comment on it all. I think Ubisoft is doing right by what's done. I think Ubisoft could have done things sooner, but they're doing things now. Yeah. But the whole company is really in turmoil at the moment. But anyway, moving on. Did you have anything else to say about Watchdogs Legion?
I'm excited about it. I've really enjoyed the past games. I'm really looking forward to what seems to be a huge step forward.
Oh yeah,
huge step forward, and it looks fantastic.
I loved Watchdogs 2. Watchdogs 2 was phenomenal. I completed that game, like everything. There was no missions left for me to do in that except sort of the ongoing things, the random missions. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
From there, they talked a lot about mobile games.
Brawlhalla.
Brawlhalla is going mobile. Game, the Might and Magic, Age of Chaos, and then they talked about Tom Clancy's Elite Squad, which looks like sort of I don't even know what kind of game it is, but it takes characters from all their games in it.
Yeah, so it is. I'm trying to remember because I've played it. It has a similar feel to the Gears Pop game, where it's sort of a cover-based shooting mechanic, type thing, and you recruit the different characters from it, and you have to make your way through the levels. I don't remember exactly because it's been months since I played it. That's a weird thing. It's been in early access for months.
Right, because you had heard about. I had never heard of it.
Yeah, so I've played this months ago. I can't remember the exact mechanic. I remember it being something. It's one of those ones where like you start off with 3 characters from the universe and stuff like that, and as you go through, you recruit more.
Okay.
And I'm sure they've made changes to it since. So I've re-downloaded. I'm going to give it a try to see if I can remember exactly what it was. It was not something that it's one of those ones where you get energy or something like that, and if you run out of energy, you can buy more or stuff like that, and then loot boxes and all that. And I got bored of it pretty quickly, but I played it very early on in their development cycle. So we'll see what it's like now. Apparently, it's coming soon.
What I thought was neat about it was that the video they showed, which was just an animated intro to the game, basically, was it showed characters. I can't name them all except for Sam Fisher, but they're infiltrating this prison where the big baddie from Wildlands was being held, and they're freeing him, and he now becomes a playable character with Sam Fisher and a bunch of these other characters from other Ubisoft games. I'm like, that's kind of cool. I mean, so it's called Tom Clancy's Elite Squad, so I'll check it out. I had not heard of it before now, but it's another mobile game. So they talked a little bit about mobile games in the middle of the show. Moved on to Hyperscape, which is Ubisoft's new battle royale game that looks really, really cool, and I really wish I could play these games, Tico. Like,
I'm so bad at these. This like Fortnite and PUBG and Overwatch and all of these games that I have played before, and I know, and this is going to look great, and I'm going to get excited about it, and I'm going to want to play, and these cool new characters and everything like that, and I'm going to jump in, and I'm going to be dead 4 seconds later, and then spectating while the other 98 people fight it out for the win. And I know I'm bad at this. Sometimes I'll get lucky and I'll be running one way to find somebody, and everybody else will happen to be fighting off, and like a few people get killed off before me. But like the first time I find somebody in any of these games, it's one of these things where I unload 6 clips at them,
and they take one shot and you're dead.
And they throw a frying pan at me and I'm dead. And like it's such a, like, I'm so terrible at these battle royale type games, and everybody I talk to who plays them, they're always super hyped about it. It's like, oh, you got to play with us. You got to do duos. We got to do all this stuff. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm in, and then I'm just dead immediately.
I know.
And
I get it.
I want to be good at these. I want to enjoy these. I just don't.
I agree. I every time a new Battle Royale game comes, not all of them, I've seen a couple that came that just looked terrible, like that one from Epic that didn't even last. But Hyperscape looks cool. And I'm like, man, I wish I could play these games. I really wish I knew how, because like you said, I jump in, I die super fast, but I also jump into the game and I have no clue where to go. I don't know what to do. You know what I mean? Like, I feel lost when I jump into these games. I don't know where to go. I don't know what my goal is. I know in this game you're trying to get the crown. It's some fight for the crown. And like, I don't have the Twitch gaming reactions of, an 18-year-old. So, like, there's no way I'm ever going to do well in a game like this.
Yeah. I like the look of it, and these are there's no learning curve on these. Like, most games you get in, it's like, I go this way, oh, I died because I did that. Right? There's no...
No, because you just died because someone else was better than you.
Yeah, you don't feel like there's a teachable moment. It's like, okay, if I learn to roll left when I'm going this way or something like that, I don't feel that I'm learning anything when I play these games, and I don't feel that I'm ever getting any better. And for that reason, I'm going to be probably out on almost all of these games. I mean, unless this is a free to play, in which case I'll download it and I'll try it, and I'll, whatever, I'll get the early achievements for dying 50 times and dying 100 times and all of those fun little things. I'll give it a try, but it is not the style of game that appeals to me. I know tons of people are going to absolutely love this. It looks great. It looks fun.
It does, yeah.
It is not for me.
No, it's not for me either. Although it is free to play. So,
well, then I will play it and suck at it and report back to you how quickly I die.
At least you can suck for free.
Yeah, there you go. Now, a game that does appeal to me, Sean.
Oh my gosh. Which one, Tico?
The cinematic amazingness that is Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Now, I've been a huge fan of these last few Assassin's Creed games, and this looks to be no different. This looks freaking amazing.
Oh my gosh.
Like, I'm watching some of these cutscenes that they're throwing up there, and I'm like, you feel like you're watching like an outtake from the TV show Vikings. It looks that realistic.
It
with
does.
The fog and just how well it looks. The gameplay itself, you can dual wield now.
You can dual wield any weapon. Like, you can...
Yeah, any two
weapons, including shields. You could dual wield a shield if that's what you want to do.
And like, they showed that. It looks so cool. Like, just running around Captain America-ing everybody with two shields.
Yes.
I just love what they've done with it. The new variety of enemies. So it's not just like, hey, there's, different skins on, all of these different types of enemies. It's different enemies that you have to figure, okay, this guy's got a shield, which means I have to do this. This guy here is going to charge and dodge, so I have to shoot him in the knee.
Yes.
Or with an arrow or whatever it is. And it just looks really good. Yes. I'm just excited about the story and I just...
Now, they showed a lot of the combat during Ubisoft Forward, which of course is the exciting part, obviously, right? So you want to sell the game with that. But there's also the exploration and the world building, and as you gain resources, you're actually building a colony. You're building a place for your people to live, that sounds really cool. I don't know how it works, but I mean, it looked cool. You can new buildings, new farms, new whatever. I don't know how it's going to work, but I like that aspect. After the Ubisoft Forward was done, they went into a deep dive, 30 minutes of actual gameplay and showing all the stuff. And you know how sometimes there's hidden resource chests inside buildings, but now there's resource. They showed one clip where there's a locked building. There's like 3 or 4 doors around the building, but they're all barred from the inside. So you actually have to figure out how to get into the building just to get the resources. So they've thrown these things in where they want the player to feel like they've accomplished something, not just gone into a building and found something. But you actually have to figure out, well, how do I get into the building to get it? So that's really cool. They've got the return. Do you remember... I don't know if you've played these ones, but back in the days of like Black Flag, they had the shanties that were floating around, and you would chase after them, right? You'd have to use your parkour skills to catch the pages of the shanties, and they would unlock a new shanty while you're on your boat. That has returned, but what's floating around are tattoo designs that you can then take back to your village and tattoo your character.
Oh, that is...
Right? You can put tattoos anywhere on your character to completely customize you with whatever tattoos you want. Your whole sleeve of tattoos on your face or your arm or whatever, right? So they've returned that old classic parkour challenge to catch these floating tattoos, which you then use for your character. So they've gone back to the histories of Assassin's Creed, and they've brought things in that have kind of gone missing over the last several games.
Yeah.
And so I'm happy for that. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. This is a November 17th, which is right around when they are stating that we are to expect maybe the new console.
Well, didn't we say November 17th was the day the PS5 was going to launch?
Yes, I think...
I can't remember. Somewhere around there, anyway. November 17th is a Tuesday, right? We said the 20th for the system.
Yeah, on the Friday.
Right. You said the 13th. I said the 20th, and we both agreed the 27th for Xbox. So the 7th, that's literally right around the time the new systems. We assume the new systems are going to launch. But interestingly enough, Chico, that's only 2 weeks after Watchdogs Legion.
I know, we're going to have so much
Maybe
Ubisoft.
Approximately 3 weeks. Approximately just under 3 weeks. Like, that is a lot of Ubisoft in under 1 month.
Like, those are both big games.
Big games,
And we're going to have, there's obviously going to be some launch titles with consoles and stuff like that. It's going to be a big, quarter, I think.
Absolutely. It is definitely going to be big. They ended the show with Far Cry 6 announcement, which obviously it leaked. We knew it was coming. Although I am disappointed that was the only quote-unquote surprise release in this whole thing.
Yeah, I was expecting a bigger show with more stuff. I thought we were going to see some stuff on Gods and Monsters, which has already been announced. Yeah, Beyond Good and Evil 2.
Where's Gods and Monsters and Beyond Good and Evil? Like, we haven't heard from them, I'd say, in like over a year now. We've heard nothing.
Yeah, our pirate game that I can't remember the name of. It's been that
Skull
long.
and Skull and Bones.
Skull and Bones.
Where's Skull and Bones? What's going on there?
Yeah, like we've not seen that in ages, and there has been rumors of a new Sam Fisher Splinter Cell game,
and still nothing.
And still nothing. Maybe at the next Ubisoft Forward. I don't know.
We keep saying that. Maybe at the next. Maybe. Do they not? They know. They have to know. People want a new Splinter Cell. What is the holdup here? Why are we getting a 6th Far Cry? This has got to be, what, the 4th Far Cry since the last Splinter Cell?
We've had, since the last one, I think 3, 4, 5, and Primal. Now, and the Dragon one.
Oh my gosh. We've had so many Far Cry games since Blacklist.
Yeah.
Do they not understand that we want another Splinter Cell?
We really do. I mean, I'm like, I don't get it. How hard can it be to throw together a game? I mean, I clearly have never done this, but it's got to be pretty easy. Just make us a game.
Obviously, if they're throwing out 4 Far Cries in however many years it's been.
Are they running into problems finding a name for it? Because give us a call. We can name things. We're good at that. We'll name your game for you.
Sure. I mean, I'll even be Sam Fisher if you want. If you're having trouble, getting your actors back to do the voice. I mean, come on.
The new Sam Fisher's an older guy with a beard.
Oh, and I lost the beard.
You're out now.
I'm out now. Too bad. Anyway, that was pretty much the Ubisoft Forward. It was less than an hour, which again was a surprise to me. I was expecting an hour or even more,
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know.
I was expecting E3 quality wowness.
And we didn't get that.
No, we didn't get that. Like they showed off some great stuff of some titles that we were already aware of, and I'm excited about those titles. I am very excited about those titles.
And I think that's the problem, is everything they gave us, we've already seen.
Yeah.
Right? Sure, we saw more details. We saw more gameplay from Watchdogs. We saw more gameplay from Assassin's Creed. But we've already seen it. We already know they're coming. Especially with Legion, we've seen it for the last 2 years. I think it would have been more exciting to show us stuff we didn't even know about. That would have made it more exciting.
Give us something to to excite. Like this is again, this looked fantastic. I'm excited about those games, but both of those games are going to be out by the end of this year.
Yes.
And even Far Cry 6 is got a release date within a year right now.
February 18th, 2021.
So it's like within a year, everything that you've showed us is going to be out. Give us something to now look forward to. Give us that next piece. What are we, dangle the hook.
Yeah.
A little bit. Yeah. Keep us interested with a Splinter Cell, with whatever you're working on. Like Skull and Bones. Like, why are we not seeing any more information about that? Is it canceled? Is it?
Yeah.
Is it still happening?
Well, yeah. It's the same. No, it's no different than Gods and Monsters, Beyond Good and Evil. What is happening? Are they still being worked on? What is the current status? Like, even a status update on these games would have been nice. Hey, we're still working on them. Here's some preliminary gameplay. Yeah. I don't know. Like, what is the trouble here? Skull and Bones was supposed to be out. Was it end of last year or the year before even?
It was like a 2019. It was a November, October 2019 release window originally.
And now it's just gone. It's off the radar.
Now we have not heard about it in the last 2 E3s. I mean, technically counting, whatever this was plus last E3, it wasn't even mentioned.
Yep.
The last time you and I were at the Ubisoft building was for
Starlink and
Starlink.
Assassin's Creed Origins or Odyssey. One of the Assassin's Creed.
Odyssey. And they had a trailer with the Skull and Bones, like a video trailer looping on there, and it was like, what's that game? Oh, that's right, because that's the guy from Skull and Bones, and it was looping on their TVs in there. But obviously that was a while ago, but
yeah, that was Odyssey. So that was almost 2 years ago, Tico.
Yeah,
right. We were at the Odyssey launch party, which was coming on almost 2 years, a year and a half ago, at least.
Yeah,
more than that now, but yeah, and that was the last we've heard of it. So I don't know. Anyway, that was Ubisoft Forward. That happened today. I guess I'm not overly impressed. Although, like you said, we're excited for the games. Just the whole thing. I was hoping for more. I was hoping for more excitement, more. I don't know. I wanted new stuff. I think that's the gamer in me. I want new. Once we've seen something and we've seen the gameplay, it's like, okay, let's, I'll play the game when it comes out. I don't need to keep seeing it. Show me something else, Yeah,
I want to know what else am I waiting for.
Right.
Like, now I know what this is. I know what to expect. I don't really need to see more gameplay for this. It's cool, but I want to know what am I excited about learning about next.
Right. Exactly. What can I look forward to? Yep.
Yeah.
All right, so that's that. A couple of news articles in the gaming industry this week. Somebody came across a patent suggesting that PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, and PlayStation 3 games could be emulated via the cloud on the next generation. And so Sony apparently patented some technology to allow emulation in the cloud. And I'm thinking to myself, well, duh. Of course it can be emulated in the cloud. I mean, cloud gaming, make cloud gaming a reality, which it already is. We've seen with Game Pass, we can play games via the cloud on our phones now with Xbox, So it absolutely makes sense that Sony is patenting something to basically put their emulators into their cloud to allow you to play old games via your console or phone or whatever, playing your original PlayStation 1, 2, or 3 games. I mean, it's sort of one of those nude. It's a nude article, Tico.
That's a different. That's a different show.
Oh, that's
for the Beard. That's from the Beard show.
Oh, right. Sorry, wrong show. Anyway, it was a news article that I looked at. I'm like, duh. Of course, you can emulate anything you want in the cloud because it's the cloud PC that's doing the work.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's also one of these articles that I get it. A lot of people love their old vintage stuff, their retro gaming and stuff like that. But who cares?
Have you actually gone back to those old games and tried to play them?
I have, and that's why I say this. Who cares? Because you go back and you're like, in your mind, it's like, man, this was such a fantastic game, and then it's like, it's trying to control a tank with, mind control. Like it's terrible. Like the controls for everything doesn't fit properly. It doesn't work, and you're like, why would they make a control like this? And it just, I've done this where I've gone back and played on the current generation, like an older version of Assassin's Creed Valhalla comes out and I go back and play Origins. And it's like, oh, well, this doesn't feel right anymore.
Origins was only a couple of years ago.
Well, yeah, but even that short distance, there is not necessarily as terrible a feel, but like you can still like, oh, okay, so this button doesn't do that and this one, okay. Like stuff like that, even when you're talking about like the same generation of thing, but when you're going back to the PS1 and trying to play a game again that you had in your mind was like, this was the greatest thing of all time.
Our friend Jane posted something earlier this week on Facebook that was so true because she's gone back and she's playing the original Tomb Raider from PlayStation 1 days. And she said in her mind, she remembers this game looking so lifelike. And I'm like, yeah, back then those games in our minds, looked lifelike. They were like, I can't believe how amazed. Do you remember that? Do you remember being absolutely blown away by the graphical fidelity of a PlayStation 1? Right?
Yeah.
So in our minds, it is like way up here in the quality. And then you go back and play it now and you're like, man, this is garbage. Like, what were we thinking? And that's the problem.
Why did we ever put ourselves through this? And then you go back.
But back then, it was amazing. It was amazing back then. But when you take that experience and try to translate it into today's standards, it is horrible.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you give a kid now, like if I grab my daughter and I say, Leah, try this PS1 game out, and she's going to be like, no, I'd rather play something on my phone that looks good.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. Although I will say, I was actually kind of proud today. My youngest daughter, Sydney, she is 20. She came down today, and she said, Dad, what are some of your favorite games on Xbox that you think I would like? And she's looking back here at because she's got the 360 up in her room.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, really? You mean like stuff you haven't played? Other than like things other than Assassin's Creed? But and I said, well, there's Dragon Age, there's Mass Effect, there's Red Dead Redemption. She said, oh, I already tried that one. She didn't like it, which was like, what? But she ended up taking Assassin's Creed Black Flag because I said, oh, this one there's all the boats, right? You can be out on the water. And then there's she took I think she took Dragon Age, the original Dragon Age. So I mean, it's like, okay, but it was just what made me proud about it was not just what game do you think I'd like, but what are your favorite games that you think I'd like? Like, she was specifically looking for the games that I loved. And I'm like, that is just, I don't know, there's just something about that, the difference between what do you think I'd like or what do you like that I would like. There's a difference. And that was so cool that she did that. So she ended up taking Assassin's Creed and Dragon Age. She took Kingdoms of Amalur. That's what she took. Yeah.
Well, she should have waited a month.
Well, no, she's got the 360. She doesn't have the new system.
Oh, all right.
She can come down here and play the new system if she wants. But yeah, it was cool. Before we move on to television, because we've only got 15 minutes left, and we do want to do a little bit of television talk, but
sure.
Books. I was really, really surprised this week to hear that Ernest Cline has written Ready Player 2.
I know. That just sort of came out. Like I figured that he may be working on something at some point on that, but like it just really just all of a sudden, and it's coming out now in November.
I've already pre-ordered the book. It's pre-ordered for my Kindle. It'll be delivered the day it launches. I was never expecting a Ready Player 2. Like, it was sort of a one-off story, and then he followed that up with I can't remember the name of the book after that, but it was also, great, fun, nostalgia-ridden game or movie, book. What are we talking about here? It's a book.
Book is what you're looking for.
Oh my gosh, that's the word.
Armada.
Thank you. Yes, Armada, which I also really, really enjoyed. Now, Ernest Cline's stuff is not for everyone. I know there's a ton of people out there that think Ernest Cline's books are drivel, and I say that word literally. They think these books are the worst things ever written. And you know what? I don't know. I just love that fun nostalgia. Just kind of take all the stuff you grew up and mash it into a book. It's because here's what it is for me. It's the same mindset for me that loves crossovers. When a TV show or a movie or whatever do crossovers, that is what these books are all about. This book takes my entire childhood and crosses them over into each other.
It's like when we watch the Goldbergs and we see the episode about Ghostbusters or the things that we grew up going, man, that was so exciting. So you see that again when you see that nostalgia being mentioned and being brought to life.
Yes.
And you're like, that is really cool.
Right.
Even just like the movie was not great by any means.
The movie. Let's not even talk about the movie because the movie shouldn't have existed, Tico.
No. The movie was not good. That being said, I did enjoy the Where's Waldo of my childhood that it was watching that. Because there's that thing that I recognize from that. There's that.
Yeah, but have you read the book? That's what it really
feels like.
Have you read the book?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because, see, in the book, what I loved, too, was there's a lot of IPs they didn't have in the movie, which would have made it so much better. But it's that whole, you've got like somebody piloting like an Optimus Prime while there's TIE fighters flying around, and somebody's in a Megazord from Power Rangers, and they're all fighting together. I'm like, this is like a geek's dream of this massive IP mashup, and that's what this book was.
I would do with my toys when I was a kid. I would have my G.I. Joes and my Transformers and everything in
and
one
Star
big
Wars,
and Star Wars. Like there would be they were all in one bin, and you'd take them out, and they'd all have this big battle scene together, and that's what the book really felt like it brought out. Like all the video games that we played as kids, like like the old stuff, everything. And it was it was fun. I really enjoyed it, and I'm hoping for a very similar light.
Yeah, I don't
by
know.
Any means the most brilliant thing ever written, but I loved it.
I don't know what to expect from Ready Player 2 at all, because Ready Player 1 was a complete story.
Yeah.
So I don't even know what to expect from Ready Player 2. I mean, I'm excited for it. It's coming. But on that note, television, movies, I'm still watching Fear the Walking Dead. I'm on season 3 now. I'm actually really, really enjoying the show. There's some characters on it I wish would just die already, but there's other characters that I'm loving. There is one character that leaves near the end of season 2, and you think is dead, and then ends up coming back. I'm like, yeah! So anyway, I'm excited. I love loving the show. So I've got like 2 seasons left to watch, and I'll be caught up. I'm hoping to catch up. It apparently comes back early August, season 6. So I'm hoping I can get through all 5 seasons before it starts up, and then I'll be completely up to date on all the Walking Dead shows.
And then they'll have more, because that's what they do with Walking Dead shows. It's going to be like 6 more shows coming.
Yeah,
plus the movies.
What are you watching these days?
So I just rewatched The Boys. They just dropped the new trailer and release date for season 2 of The Boys, which is in September. So I'm like, I'm going to rewatch that.
Gosh, the season 2 looks brutal.
Yeah, and so I rewatched the first season, and it watches just as well the second time. I tried to get Shannon to sit down and watch with me, but she was not interested in it at that time.
No, Dorothy would not. Dorothy would not watch The Boys at all.
I think Shannon would enjoy it, but she wasn't in the mood to start when I wanted to start it, and I'm like, okay, forget it. I'm just rewatching it on my own. I did watch the new Netflix film, The Old Guard.
How was that? It's about I know the people, they're basically immortals. I want to see that.
Yeah.
With Charlize Theron.
It's based. Yeah, Charlize Theron. It's based off a graphic novel. It actually is pretty good. I was pleasantly surprised. It does start out a little dry. It does have an underworld vibe to it.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, it really felt like it had a little bit of an underworld. It's that thing where they bring you these established characters in this world. They're already established and doing all of the stuff that they're doing, and you're being slowly introduced into the world that is what they do.
That's cool. I really want to watch The Old Guard. It looks cool. Good action adventure by the looks of it. Yeah. It looks really cool. Excellent. So it's worth watching. It's like over 2 hours, I noticed. Yeah,
I watched it yesterday. Really enjoyed it. I got myself into a little bit of a reality TV thing. So there's some new shows. There's a new show called Tough as Nails that just started, which takes
I saw that.
every day.
What is that?
Every day. It's hosted by Phil Kehoe, who does what does he do? I can't remember which one he does. I think
who cares? Anyway.
One of them. Anyways, it's everyday Americans doing like construction work and stuff like that, and they compete for prizes. Okay. Cannonball is basically if you took Wipeout. Do you remember the show Wipeout?
Yes.
Yeah, if you took that and you basically based it down in Florida, you got a bunch of really weird people sliding down slides trying to jump as far as they can into objects and stuff like that.
What?
It is not
Is this Jackass the TV show?
It's a competition show. Like you have to launch yourself off a water slide, and whoever launches themselves the furthest wins some money. It's basically Spring Break, the TV show. It does it's not good watching. I then got myself hooked.
But you watched it.
One episode of it. Just one episode.
All right. It's like me watching, half an episode of Ultimate Tag.
Yeah. Yeah, it's along those lines.
Oh, good. Oh, good.
So I then watched a show called Game of Arms. I didn't know what it was going into this.
How did you not know from the cover? It's a bunch of guys arm wrestling.
I didn't see the cover. I just saw the title, Game of Arms. And then I looked it up and I'm like, why not? And so I watched it. It is a team arm wrestling competition show that I don't know why, but I enjoyed it. They show these guys and it's like their home lives and stuff like that. And it's these big, like, muscle bound weirdos who think who treat this as like the most serious profession in the world. And I watched all 10 episodes of it.
Oh my gosh, Tico.
Here's the thing. It was not terrible. It was told, like, the story was told in sort of like 30 for 30, like, sports documentary style, leading up to each match. And they go through, like, these are the headliner matches, and it's like the Pittsburgh, like, arm rollers versus, like, the steel arms from New York City. I can't remember any of the team names now, but, like, and they get together in a warehouse or in a slaughterhouse, and they'd have this thing, and they'd have the slow motion bits and stuff like that. And it was really well done. It is by far, like, you're looking at this like, why do you guys think that arm wrestling is this important? For one thing, but it's also, it was one of those like car accident can't look away sort of moments, and I watched the entire thing. It's like 10 episodes. I watched the entire thing, and yes, I'm slightly ashamed, but
I'm sorry to
I would
hear
also
that, Tico.
suggest that you may want to check out at least an episode, because it is kind of fun.
No.
Yeah, next week we're going to see Sean signed up for the Kitchener Kibosh. I don't know what you're going to name your team, Sean.
Dorothy and I did watch a movie this week. The new, I think it was an Apple TV film.
Yeah, it was.
It was Tom Hanks in Greyhound, and this tells the story of the Greyhound battlecruiser that basically protected 37 ships crossing the Atlantic during World War II. Is based on a novel. It was actually, the screenplay was written by Tom Hanks himself, and he stars in it. It's about an hour and a half long, and it is non-stop from the moment it starts and to the moment it ends. But after I'm done, like, I was on the edge of my seat the whole movie. Let's put it this way, okay? On the edge of my seat the whole time I'm watching it. But after the movie's done, I'm like, that felt more like an episode from like a World War II TV show than a standalone film, because there was no characters development. Like, I don't know a single person's name. There was no actual story per se, as opposed to it was like 2 days in the life of type thing. It was based on a real battle where this group of ships were trying to basically survive, like these, there's, I think, 4 or 5 German subs basically hunting them throughout the Atlantic as they're crossing. But that is literally it. It is a group of ships crossing the Atlantic while there's 3 main battle cruisers that are to protect these. They're like merchant ships and supply ships, right? And there's 3 battle cruisers that are there to protect them while they don't have air cover, because the whole point is there's this black zone in the Atlantic where it's too far for planes to go from the Americas, and it's too far for the planes to go to follow them all the way across, right? So there's this zone where they have no air cover, because it's usually air cover where they can see where the subs are and they can bomb them from above, right? And so it's during that blackout period that they have to protect these ships from this group of German subs that keep taunting them and blowing up some of their ships. And that is literally the only thing the movie's about. It is that 2-day period. And it starts at the beginning of the 2-day period. It ends when they're done. And that's it. That is the movie. It's like, I finished watching it. As much as we enjoyed it, it was interesting to watch. I'm done watching it. I'm like, Okay. I guess there was a movie there somewhere, but it didn't feel like a movie. It felt like an episode from a World War II documentary.
So this is the one that it was filmed, I believe, in Australia. This is the one where he actually caught COVID while filming this.
Oh, okay.
In Australia, I believe that's what it was. It was originally meant for a theatrical release, but due to COVID, they sold the rights to Apple.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Because they just didn't. They needed to recoup their money from it, so Apple bought it at whatever 50 cents on the dollar or whatever it was, in order to get out there. And
there's no
theatrical release.
There's no plot. You know what I mean? There's no character development. You don't know anyone's character's name. You don't even care what the characters' names are. It's literally just watching how they defend these boats as they're and it's weird. I mean, watch it. It's worth watching because it's quite intriguing, but you don't come out of it thinking, "Man, I watched an incredible film."
Well,
it's not like watching, was it 1917? 1917 was fantastic. There was actual story. There was people you cared about and all this. I don't know. I didn't feel that same way about Greyhound. But
I'm going to check it out this week. I'm going to check that out this week and see what it's like.
On that note, that is pretty much this episode. We wanted to, of course, we did postpone the show because of Ubisoft Forward. So now that that's done, we are also done. We, of course, we'll be back again next week with another show. This has been episode number 375 of the OMG Hour, and you can follow the show on Twitter at the OMG Hour, and you can follow me everywhere as Ziantane, and that is Xiantayne.
And you can follow me on the Twitters at Mr. Second Place, and our board gaming Instagram is Flipping Tables with OMG. Check us out there.
Thanks, everybody, for listening. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you again next week.
Bye, guys.
Come over here, Chico.
Shh, I'm busy. I'm on my phone already.
All right. Well, if you liked what you saw, subscribe and check out those videos over there. I think you'll like. There's some more stuff. There's some
ones.
Reviews. And
there's stuff below.
Don't forget.
A button.
Are you talking or am I talking? Are you talking?
I thought we were both talking.
We are both talking.
Listen, the guy with the beard gets to talk first. That's how it works.